And this would be in the, what, elementary, kindergarten?
At the elementary building, yes.
Okay.
And then a few more move-ins from out of state. When we have students move in from out of state, we have to do an evaluation. They already have an IEP, they have to evaluate them, make sure they meet our criteria.
On these 49 behavior plans, are they, do you see a positive impact?
Yes, 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 very much so.
Very well. So, moving along pretty well at this time.
Supporting our teachers.
Yes.
So they can teach the students to learn.
And the only way the students learn is if we give them that hands up and help them out. Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you for explaining that. Thank you so much.
Any other questions for Dr. Kioski? All right, Dr. Naylor.
About 2 weeks ago, John and I met with Alpha Fire Department Chief Justin Myers, as well as Josh Nelson, the EMS Deputy Chief, to talk about emergency operations and planning. We talked about a number of different areas related to coordinating services and training, communication, and working collaboratively to build capacity across the continuum of services in the event of an emergency situation. So we talked a lot about incident command, potential planning of scenarios and situations, and utilize this as an opportunity to continue to build capacity in future planning. Obviously, with the new building, providing an opportunity for Alpha Fire Department and their personnel to get into the building and tour the building as part of our next steps here mid-year with those individuals, but also then working towards opportunities to plan and train together our staff with their personnel. So it's something that we want to continue to build upon as we move forward. So I appreciate John taking the lead on that and establishing a lot of contact with our first responders, not only Alpha Fire Department, but Littlestown Police Department and our county services as well. We also conducted a tabletop exercise with our admin team as well. Discussed one of our emergency annexes and how we would walk through a scenario that we presented to our admin team. They were given a scenario, an opportunity to debrief, and how they would handle that situation, the steps that they would take. Had an opportunity, obviously, then as a team to see how all the administrators would react, what they would pursue in an emergency situation, steps they would take. Not only that helped an opportunity for all of us to learn from each other, but to build our capacity with regards to the scenario we were talking about. So that, again, is something that will continue and will weave into our monthly discussions as an admin team. I think the more you talk about scenarios and situations, it also helps the younger administrative team members understand what they might be thinking about and help them build their capacity in looking at different scenarios and situations. From a technology standpoint, we just completed working with our teaching staff as well as our students and the student devices and rolling all of those devices over to a new mobile device management system, and we'll be transitioning down to the middle school and helping those students transition over to this new system as well as the staff. So that's something that we plan to have completed mid-year with regards to device management, a smoother operating system for us to support our teachers and our students with regards to the student devices and staff devices. That concludes my report.
Any questions for Dr. Naylor?
Dr. Naylor, question. When you say you did exercises and such, do you do that with the full staff in each building?
Not with the full staff. From a full staff perspective, those are some of our monthly drills that we conduct, whether it's evacuation. Those are, or an emergency situation like an intruder, things of that nature are done from a full staff capacity. Just recently, it was done with the admin team and how we would react in this situation was a situation that occurred on a bus with an emergency outside the district building walls, and how an administrator would react to a situation that might be outside the Littlestown borough on a highway, and help and support an emergency in that scenario. So those are types of scenarios then that we continue to work with our admin team.
And do we have any update on the radios? Or do we have to put something in the building to enhance the signals?
It is something that's part of the project, that they need to do testing. I'm not sure where we are on that. That is one conversation we had with Alpha with regards to the county radio system, and they're going through an upgrade as well, in coordinating communication with Alpha. It was a conversation we had, but that is part of the project and part of that punch list. And if there are, I'm going to say, dead zones, there is a remediation plan within the building plans to provide those enhanced services to boost the communication in those areas. But I will follow up and see where we are on conducting those tests.
And do we have any capabilities with this radio system of interacting with like the fire department if they should have to show up? I mean,
Part of that conversation we're having with the local first responders is right now we have one radio that John has, and obviously one radio isn't going to be enough in an emergency situation. So that was some of the conversations and recommendations that Alpha Fire Department and Justin Myers had for us, at least one radio once we get that new system in place in each building, in addition to what John has available from the recommendation.
sounds great. As soon as you can get an update on the radio system.
Yes.
Do a great deal for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
I'll
sir.
follow up with Victor on that, because I know you had said that's part of their plans to work that into the final phase.
And thank you for explaining that.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Any other questions for Dr. Naylor? All right. Dr. Merriman.
Good evening. Right now, each of the buildings are preparing for their parent-teacher conferences, which are coming up November 24th and 25th. So each of those buildings have sent out their communication to parents for them to set up the time. I also know our teachers will reach out as well. Parents don't put up any still that they need to have a conference. This is a great opportunity for parents and students to be talking with teachers, talk about the learning, and setting some goals for the rest of the year or the rest of the marking period. I also wanted to add, at our last new teacher induction, we spent a lot of time working with the new teachers in how to prepare for parent-teacher conferences, because the first time through that can be a little daunting. So we try to give them some ideas of how to start and some things to talk about. Continuing to do walkthroughs throughout the building. So today I was in ACES, spent some time in second grade. Got to see a really good introductory lesson to Veterans Day coming up tomorrow. And then I'm also going to finish with second grade tomorrow, because I didn't get to see as many teachers as I wanted to today. Our kindergarten team is excited because they finally have received their decodables. So they've been asking for those, and they finally came through with the grant. So we're excited to have those in little kindergartners' hands, especially to support that small group instruction. That's going to be my report for tonight, because we have a very full agenda on November 25th, and I have a lot to share about it.
Okay. Any questions for Dr. Merriman?
Dr. Berry, one question I would like to ask. First of all, what is it code?
So, that's okay. So
I
when
gotta be
kindergartners are learning how to read, or even sometimes first graders, they have to sound out the words. So as they're learning their letters and their sounds and blend, so the code book will match what they're learning in the lesson.
Also, it's back to like book. Is it just one book, or is it just?
It's a children got a set of 6 different books for a small group, but don't hold, I want to say it's 6.
It's six. And another question I have, you said the parent-teacher conferences are November 24th, 25th. In your experience, and I don't put you on the spot, what is the participation rate on those 2 days with parents?
So it usually tiers. Elementary is very heavy. You see a lot of participation at the elementary school. And then middle and high school, it tends to drop off a little bit, but it really depends grade level. Like 6th grade will be heavier than perhaps 7th and 8th grade, and generally 9th grade has a lot more parents than your 11th and 12th grade.
So it gives us a chance to interact with parents, and the parents get a chance to interact with the teachers.
Yeah, and I saw Nate has, Dr. Becker has stayed with the same practice that I think Joey and I both had when we were there. So because at the high school level, not as many parents tend to sign up. So if kids are struggling in our classes, we ask teachers to reach out and ask the parents to come in.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that.
At the middle and high school, it's more outreach to try to get parents to come in, where at elementary, and I'm not saying middle and high school parents definitely do sign up, but there's more outreach to try to get parents to come in.
So you're basically seeing a lot of participation in the elementary,
Oh, yeah.
which makes sense. And as middle school and high school goes, it kind of laps off a little bit, that you do make an effort to reach out. Good, good, because that's kind of like a very good opportunity to meet with the parents and have a discussion, especially if the child's struggling or there's issues. I think it's a great way to have a one-on-one conversation with the parent in person. I appreciate you explaining that. Thank you so much.
Mr. Sullivan, my experience has been at the elementary level, we get well over 90%. Dr. Berman, I would guess that's similar here. Middle and high school, it's a little bit tougher. Back in the day, before everybody had an online report card on a daily basis, I felt it was so important to have parents' participation. I would hold the report cards.
Maybe come get them.
It didn't go over real well with some parents.
No.
But now with all the technology we have, you have a daily report card if you choose to use it.
So you can't make them comment at the end of it anymore. Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I've always thought that the parent involvement is the most important key part
Absolutely.
to the child's, or the student's education, I should say. That's why I asked. Thanks a lot.
Any other questions for Dr. Berryman? Mr. Schodaker?
Just got a few things to report on tonight. Just want to announce that our yearly annual audit is about 90% complete. It's a little more intensive this year due to some new standards, so I just want to thank the business office, especially Mrs. Barnes in the crowd out there. She worked a lot harder on some of the items than I did. Some of the new standards fell in her lap rather than mine. Just want to congratulate her hard work. With that conclusion of the audit, we will be looking at allocation of funds. If that's another way of saying our fund balance at November 25th. This is the FPS committee. That'll be one of the topics for that. The second item was budgets were compiled and released to all administrators today. We expect to get those back mid-January, then hold meetings in late January, early February. Information around the February-March time. Lastly, or the next one to announce is we have officially exhausted all of our GO bond funds, our bond funding, except what we have in escrow with the borough. So you now are switching over to our district fund cash. So I've seen some more capital project checks that the board will approve. They're still construction related, so it's a different bank account. But board members know that we're now switching over to that for the next thing. And with that exhaustion of the GO bond funds, the last piece is positive piece. Within that, when PFM came July of 22 or 23, within the project was estimated $1.6 million of interest earnings. We have had a favorable scenario here at the district. So we have now 2.9 million was earned on those GO bond funds over the past few years. So that netted us about 1.25 million extra for the district.
With that,
Mr. Shoemaker, I think you need to, I'm not sure everybody was awake for that. Can you repeat that one more time? All right, let's wake up, everybody. Corey, wake up back there.
Yeah, so that's just, now that we're concluded with the go bonds, we will see a couple trickles in with the escrow account, but that'll be very minor, so in my opinion, it's now somewhat concluded on what we would be able to earn. So yeah, we went from 1.65 estimated up to 2.9.
And the reason we're at 2.9 in the way of interest earning is because of the strategic moves that this gentleman has made that doesn't happen everywhere. So kudos to you, Mr. Shoemaker.
Thank you, Dr. Berryman.
And that concludes my report.
All right, any questions for Mr. Shoemaker?
How are we looking, and I've been looking through the figures, it appears that we have a good bit of money left over for collection for the local taxpayers. So we're going to be doing already even past Thanksgiving because of the budget stuff in Harrisburg. But we should be okay. It doesn't look like, it looks to me, when I was reading it, like the state, they only put in like, what, 16 million of it, roughly? And we're putting in 60% of it, but it looks like most of our collections on property taxes have come in. The only thing I don't see coming in is the earned income tax.
So earned income tax we get monthly, so that'll progress all through June, and then we'll collect all the way into August to accrue that back. So that's a month-to-month, we able to get that released over time. Property taxes, you know, if your personal home, you get a discount. Almost the bulk of everybody pays in that discount period to receive that slight discount. We'll see the bulk of those funds, and then face value right now is what we will now see. We will receive normally our 96% collection rate is what we've been, that's what we budget here. That's what we try to have about, give or take here in the next few months. Probably the rest of that. That's why. So we're front heavy on local cash that rises through negotiations that way. So we're in that December, January timeframe when the board discussions has something like that.
Correct. That's when I was going through the budget and reading the figures, I did notice that we were okay through at least January of the year because it's concerning to me that we haven't heard anything about a decision in Harrisburg. You know, we're talking about 16 million of our budget.
We'll just say there's rumblings in Harrisburg. We'll see if they're good or bad in the next few weeks.
Mr. Shoemaker, Mr. Sullivan, I can't reply on this one. My understanding is at least one of the biggest holdups is a whole issue of cyber charter schools. This is something I've been passionate about for quite some time. I just feel it's almost criminal the way that we and many other districts in Pennsylvania across the Commonwealth are being overcharged for services. My understanding is there is a push for a flat rate where all 500 school districts would be paying the same amount, not 500 variable rates and whatnot. That way, our business manager and other business managers across the Commonwealth can take a look at this. At Gettysburg, we're paying over $4 million towards this. We wouldn't have to raise taxes in some regards. I'm not sure where we're at and what our payment is, but I know it's pretty high. What's also, and Carolyn, you might be aware of this, I'm just going to go ahead and say it because I've seen it. All of a sudden, a regular ed student moves into a cyber charter school, that he gets evaluated, all of a sudden, magically, they need an IEP for a minor speech impediment or a visual thing or whatever that's created, which then doubles the amount of tuition that we have to pay. So part of what they're trying to do reasonably, and PSBA, I was part of the I co-facilitated a Pennsylvania study on this. Part of what they're trying to do, and Carolyn, correct me if I'm wrong, we're looking at a tiered system depending upon the amount of need that that child has. So if it's a minor disability, that reimbursement or that expense would be a whole lot less than if a student is in a wheelchair or quadriplegic or something where they're in an MDS class where obviously it would be very, very expensive and so on. So we really do need cyber charter reform. They don't have any of the overhead that a public school has, like Littlestown and most of the other districts across the Commonwealth. So if that's the holdup, frankly, I hope whoever is fighting for us continues to fight. And maybe it will be January, and maybe schools are going to struggle a little bit, but maybe it's worth the fight. Just one person's opinion. So I didn't need to say that. That's my last sermon tonight, by the way. Maybe one.
Mr. Perez.
Mr. Schovick, one quick question on the audit. Just can you remind us who the audit's by? Is it internal or is it?
No, it's just external, and it's required by PA State Code. We have an annual audit done, and it's by Zelenskovsky Axelrod LLC.
But it's a PA requirement.
Yes, yes. So we do have that, and then we have subsequent audits by the state whenever they request them. Last year we had 2 in our food service program and federal programs on that. Those are the 3 comments.
Thank you.
Next month is the month typically get the books, right?
This will be most likely January due to timing of the December meeting. So we, FDS decides how to allocate the funds that factors into what's in that blue book. But due to that quick turnaround for the December meeting, it's most likely going to be the January that we'll see those and have the auditors will be on Zoom and be able to discuss them.
Any other questions? All right, last but certainly not least, we're pleased to have with us Mr. Alsakis.
Good evening. The fall athletic season has officially concluded, and we're thrilled to begin our winter season. Before looking ahead, I'd like to share a few exciting updates from the fall that occurred after our October board meeting that Nate reported on. Our field hockey team advanced to the first round of district tournaments and competed in a hard-fought battle against Greenwood High School. Meanwhile, our volleyball team reached the second round of district playoffs after defeating Upper Dauphin in the opening round. In a 5-game thriller, our girls ultimately came up short